Hey guys, John here from Sonic Drive Studio. Welcome back to the channel and I hope you're all doing well. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to make the Laney Ironheart tube amplifiers sound absolutely massive using my own secret settings, and I hope you enjoy. So, the Laney Ironheart is a very cool and unique amplifier. I have the 60 watt tube amp over here. They have a bunch of different versions. You have the IRT Studio, which I have over there, and also the 120 watt version, as well as some solid state versions. And yeah, it's just a unique looking amplifier with some unique features, and it's just a very sturdy amplifier with these handles over here. Pretty cool. And like I said, this is the 60 watt version, and this one has two 6L6 tubes in the power section. And it's a 3-channel amplifier. There's a clean channel, a rhythm channel, and a lead channel. In today's video, we're going to focus on the rhythm channel, because I found that that's the best channel for modern rock and metal rhythm tones. And by the way, this video is not sponsored by Laney in any way. Now before we go any further, I'd like to show you guys how this amplifier sounds with all the EQ settings in the noon positions. So that's the 3-band EQ, bass, mid, and treble, as well as this dynamics control over here and this tone control over here in the master section. And this amps EQ also has this pull function, which I'll get to later in the video, but I'm also going to turn all of that off. So the most basic settings, basically. So this is the before tone, if you know what I mean. Quick note on the signal chain, the amp is being fed into my RedSeven Ampliciation Amp Central reactive load, and then into the modern 3 mic blend mix from the OwnHammer Rockbox V30 MV2001A, and that's basically based on one of those Marshall vintage speakers. Really good sounding with this amplifier. The guitar that I'm using is my Gibson Les Paul Custom. Okay, let's take a quick listen. Alright, so that definitely wasn't horrible sounding, but it was a little bit muffled sounding, not really exciting, and it kind of got lost in the mix. Now with some dialing in, we can really open up this amplifier and make it sound much more huge, much more open, much more fat and thick. So basically much wider sounding in the mix and with a nice and chunky low end response. So what I'm going to do now is start with the noon positions and dial in the amp to my favorite settings. And I'll use the EQ as well as the built-in boost for that. Okay, let's go ahead and dial in this amplifier. Check it out. Alright, so that sounded much better, right? Okay, so to demonstrate the differences more clearly, let's now check out an A/B back-to-back comparison of my settings versus the noon positions, okay? Let's take a listen. Pretty big difference, right? Really cool. Now the EQ on this amplifier is really responsive and you can really go in and sculpt the tone to your heart's content, even with just the 3-band EQ. But the master EQ over here is also very powerful, as you probably heard in the dialing in sections. The dynamics control over here basically is kind of like a resonance control. It affects the low end and the low end response. And the tone control over here is kind of like a presence control, but it affects way more than just the top end. It has a great effect on the mids as well. It really opens up the amplifier. So all of these controls can have a great impact on your tone. And I'm going to demonstrate that in more detail for you in a minute. But first, let's talk about the built-in boost. So the boost has an impact on the overall gain structure and feel as well. Obviously, it adds more gain, but it does change the response as well. It really helps with fattening up the tone quite a bit. And as you can see, my preferred settings on the boost this time around is just cranking it up all the way. I felt like it sounded much better than putting it halfway, for example. Cranking it up all the way made it sound the best to my ears. And then adjusting the gain control accordingly, of course, to compensate for the extra gain. Now let's do some quick dialing in with the gain control of the rhythm channel and the boost, just so you guys can hear how the boost affects the tone. Check it out. Cool. Now, as I talked about a minute ago, the 3-band EQ can also have a great effect on the tone. And each of these 3 controls, so the bass, mid, and treble controls, have a pull function. And that pull function basically changes the sound and the response of the 3-band EQ individually. Now, I want to give you an idea of how these controls can affect the tone also when you pull them out. So let's do some dialing in with the 3-band EQ over here. Check it out. Interesting, right? So the controls can change quite drastically when you pull them out, especially the treble control. When you pull it out, the treble range gets much wider basically, and it also affects more of the mid-range that way. Very cool. Now for my preferred settings, I only pulled out the bass control because it extends the low ends a little bit, makes it a little bit more fat basically. But yeah, I really like having these features on an amplifier, and my Ironheart amps are the only amps that I can think of that offer this unique feature. So that's all for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope this will help you out to dial in your Ironheart amplifier. They're really great amplifiers, but they do require some tweaking to get you the best tone. Let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are on these amplifiers and my settings, because I'd love to know. Of course, you can also follow Sonic Drive Studio on Facebook and Instagram, and please also drop a like and subscribe, as that really helps the channel out. I'd usually appreciate that. Thank you guys so much, and I hope to see you soon. Cheers!